By the way, back in 2017, Yankees looked like contenders for the World Series. Unfortunately for them, they ran into the Houston Astros. That was the same year the Astros were spanked for stealing signs. That story hasn't gone away because yesterday, the Yankees GM, Brian Cashman, threw more fuel on that fire. He claims the only reason the Yankees haven't made a World Series since 2009 was due to the Astros' actions in 2017. That's right, I'll say it again. The only reason the Yankees haven't made it to a World Series since 2009 was due to what Houston did in 2017. We know what Houston did was wrong. But the Yankees calling out Houston is just a little bit like the pot calling the kettle black, because guess who was fined that same season for stealing signs? Your New York Yankees. But the story's been swept under the rug. But unfortunately for the Yankees, the U.S. Second Circuit Court ruled a letter containing information on the Yankees' sign stealing has to be made public. And New York better hope that document doesn't implicate them any further, because if it does, the Yankees' finger pointing the past 5 years is going to be a really, really bad look for them. Now, the article was in The Athletic. Andy McCullough wrote an article on the Yankees and Brian Cashman. And Brian Cashman said, the only thing that stopped us was something that was so illegal and horrific, Cashman told The Athletic. So I get offended when I start hearing we haven't been to the World Series since 2009, because I'm like, well, I think we actually did it the right way. Pulled it down, brought it back up, drafted well, traded well, developed well, signed well. The only thing that derailed us was a cheating circumstance that threw us off. He goes on to say, people are like, oh, we haven't been to a World Series? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's a true statement, as it could be. We had a World Series team, and you either get it done or you don't. Well, there's a couple things here. He has a point about that year, but the previous years, what does that have to do with 2017? If the Mets have been to more World Series than the Yankees have in the last decade, I got to do some finger pointing at the Yankees. I think you spent a lot of money. How's that Giancarlo Stanton investment working there? You've spent money, you've had money to spend, and now you have some competition because the Dodgers are now, oh, we'll take Freddie Freeman. Carlos Correa, the Twins got him. You don't even have a shortstop. So I have to look at this that, okay, Astros cheated. They won a World Series title. All right, fair. Okay, you know who was the ringleader or one of the main ringleaders for the Astros in the cheating scandal? Carlos Beltran. Guess which team he was with prior to joining the Astros? The Yankees. Did he just all of a sudden go, hey, I'm going to Houston. Hey, what about cheating? Did they do anything nefarious with the Yankees there? How about some of the players you've employed? You won a World Series title with A-Rod and Andy Pettitte. So this is brought up by Brian. I didn't bring it up. Brian did. And nobody's feeling sorry for the Yankees. I mean, it's really hard to go, I feel sorry for the Yankees. Maybe that year. Okay. But the other years? I can't. It's not like you haven't been to the World Series prior to 2017 because you kept thinking in your mind, somewhere down the road, somebody's going to be stealing signs, and that's why we're not going to be in the World Series for, these 8 years prior to. Yeah, Paulie.
The other thing, having $250 million to spend every year, it makes it so confusing who to buy.
Yeah. Let me see. Do we want Garrett Cole? Okay, we'll take one of those, and we'll take one of those. That's the way it used to be. So all of those World Series titles where you not only were drafting players, developing players, you kept all of those players. Because I hear Yankee fans going, hey, they developed Jeter and Bernie Williams and Andy Pettitte. They drafted them. And I'm like, yes, but all the other teams, the smaller markets, they develop players. They can't afford to keep them. The Yankees keep them. But then they also go, oh, what do we need? What do we need? I don't know. How about somebody who can hit 50 home runs? Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah, he's a one-dimensional player. How about $300 million? Marlins couldn't afford him. But, man, you're asking for sympathy, and you're the Yankees? I think Brian It's best that you just move on. Here's the thing. If you have your point there, don't let it get clouded with all the other stuff that's going to surround it here. 2017 has nothing to do with what you did the previous 8 years where you didn't win a World Series. Go to a World Series. But the Yankees pleading not poverty, but maybe sympathy, find that a little hypocritical there. Yes, Seton O'Connor.
It really doesn't even matter if they did go to the World Series anyway. They could have won every single one of those. All 8. They could have won 8 straight years, and it would have been, well, yeah, but you bought them. I mean, we led the whole segment into how much money they spend. So It's like, what does it even matter?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
They're supposed to win. Like the Dodgers. When Dave Roberts came on and he said, hey, put it, write it down. Put it in the books. We're going to win the World Series. He should feel that way. They should win the World Series. They have a great team. They spent money. But the Yankees, every year, that's what they do.